I'm visiting here with Karst Hunter, the Miller Highmore Herald quarterback. And Karst, I wanted to ask you a little bit about this season. You guys are currently riding a four-game winning streak, but you started 0-3. You know, there was a lot of hype, early preseason polls and stuff. Tell me about how your season has kind of gone down up in Miller. A lot of improvement here in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. We started off, we had a lot of key players graduate from last year's team, and coming into this year, we knew that we'd have to change some things, and we'd have different people playing. And we had guys in new positions and guys who haven't really seen the field a lot. And we also had some young guys that had to come in right away. And playing the teams we do right out of the gate, playing Wolsey, Kimball, Bonholm, those are some pretty solid teams. So it was tough for some people to kind of adjust and adapt. But since then, we had a bye week, kind of got things under control, and we've been rolling since then. I think that we're playing good football, and people are starting to be confident with what they can do, and they're playing good.
Tell me a little bit about the emotional standpoint. I mean, how did you get through that? I mean, I know you're a competitor. I watch you play basketball, watch you run track and stuff. How did you keep a positive and upbeat attitude through practices along with Coach Will Castle up there? How'd you keep it positive for the younger guys during that streak?
You just help them out. We know that they're young and they got to learn, but at the same time, they got to try to learn fast. So you just help them out as much as you can with things that you know that you've learned over the years, and try to give it to them to help them learn faster. And just being positive all the time, knowing that just do what we do, and eventually things will click and things will start rolling.
So now you guys have run off 4-0, and in some ways, in my mind, it's kind of like what Kimball Whitelake did last year. They really started out slow and then closed like a freight train there. But can you tell me about some of the guys offensively that have really stepped up for you, be it on the offensive line, those guys that don't get any credit, or some of your skill position players around you? Tell me about some of your guys.
Um, well, I'll start off with our linemen. We started a freshman center, and he missed a couple games and he hasn't been playing a lot because he's got a knee injury, but he's back. Um, so the only two guys that really returned from last year's team would be our right guard and our tight end, Jared Blumer. So everyone else kind of had to step up, but they've definitely improved a ton since week one, and they're playing really good. They just got confident. They
Yeah.
usually second guess themselves and didn't really think they were right, but now they know that they're right and they just do it. Our running back missed the first couple games of the year because he was at basic training, so now he's back and he's playing some really good football. He's a really good athlete. He also plays middle linebacker for us, and then just our wide receivers. They're just kind of, I wouldn't say sneaky, but they don't put up big numbers, but they all do a little. They all do a little part of certain things. Like some are quick, some can just catch and are always reliable. They can get open. They just know the routes and know how to run them. And just when you put all the pieces together, it just really helps.
Talk to me a little bit about your guys' defense up there. For one, I mean, we hear all about your quarterback exploits up there, but what do you play on defense typically for Coach up there?
I started off the year at high safety, but now I'm playing like more of a corner, outside linebacker type. Um, I like it better, but this is kind of my first year playing defense, like legit playing defense, because I just never really had to because of the athletes we have. So I've learned and I've done what I can. I kind of do defense anyway, but defense is a lot of fun to me. I like defense, but no, I'm playing outside linebacker and.
Monster roving around. Tell me about some of the other guys you have on defense. Like who's somebody that's really doing a good job stuffing the run, or some of your maybe outside guys that are slowing other teams down a little bit more these days.
Um, our middle linebacker is probably our best tackler. He's our running back. He's just a really athletic guy. Um, he might be one of the most athletic guys I've ever been around that's been on our team. And then we have a sophomore DN that's really stepped up from last year. Last year, was a freshman, kind of bounced around from positions, didn't really know what he should play, and kind of came to the DN spot and liked it. And so he worked on that. And this year, he's really stepped up, and he's playing some good football. And then our corners, We have a corner that's not too bad, just a good athlete, runs track, and good tackler, good reliable guy that gets the outside and go.
Tell tell me a little bit about the matchup with Gregory. I mean that program is just littered with legacy over there. They really do a good job. Brian Almendinger and his kids over there, but you got a tough Gregory squad to face here. What are your thoughts, kind of heading into that game?
Yeah, without a doubt. You got to give the respect to Gary. They've done everything to earn it. They've won titles. They've created dynasty down there. But we're just looking at just their key players, and we're just going to match up to them. We think that we're just about the same team that they are. We have our athletes. They have their athletes. We got a good coach. They got a good coach. So it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be really fun. We both have similar records. They're 5-2. We're 4-3. So it's going to be a great game to end out the year. And it's in Miller, so that's fun too.
Um, can you hang on just a second? My dog is like yelling at me because I'm not. I need to get my dog something. Hang on, just
Yeah. Okay.
hang on. All right, come on, you. Yeah, all right. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Um, I wanted to ask you about your performance in the last game. I didn't see it necessarily, but I read about some of the results. You were kind of responsible for 7 touchdowns in that game. I mean, what what got it going for you guys? Got it going for you individually, and I guess how good did it feel to get it going like that?
Uh, it was it was great. Just our running attack really was got it going. We only threw the ball 14 times, so to go 8 for 14 and have 100, 150 yards passing and then go with 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns, that's not bad passing the ball. But our running attack was really good. Our offensive line blocked stuff up, and we do a lot of RPOs. So just reading them and read the DN and pull it and go, and it's been fun. It was it was it was fun to start. Things just kind of clicked, and we have an up tempo offense. So doing the RPOs and up tempo, the defense kind of gets flustered, and they get like not nervous, but they just get flustered and hesitate, and you just pull it and go.
This is I kind of watched. Your dad and I are pretty good friends. We visit on Facebook and stuff, and I watched some of your summer tour when you're going out and recruiting with some of the other schools. I don't want to necessarily ask you about that, but um, how much work did you put into this off season to get ready for your senior year, and maybe even just talk about basketball and track and everything that you've put in, because you were a 5 flat 40 guy not that long ago, and suddenly we're talking more like 4 or 5 these days.
Yeah, I put in a lot of work. In June, it felt like I was at camp every other day. Uh, there was one weekend there where I only had one rest day. 6 out of the 7 days I was somewhere, and it was crazy. Just putting in the work, and then just going down to Sioux Falls and working out with Coach Riggs at the field house there. Just having him help me out with things I need to work on, and just lifting, doing our summer workouts, and all that stuff. And it's just helped me for this year and years to come. But this summer was pretty insane. I won't lie. It's probably one of the busiest summers I've ever had.
Can you tell me how do you feel personally about track and field benefiting you as an athlete? I know I watched you on those relay teams last year, 4x1 and 4x2 up there, breaking school records and stuff. But how for you personally did participating in track and working at it the way you did make you a better football player?
Uh, Track, I've always been told that it's probably the best sport to do if you're an athlete, you want to be an athlete, and it definitely helped me this year because I came in last year at this time, I was probably running around a 5.140,
Wow.
not very fast, and I wasn't very fast at all. And then before track, I lift and squat and everything, like before track season, and then track season hit, and I changed to a sprinter just so I could work on sprinting and becoming faster, and it definitely helped out being in those relays, running the open one, the open two, and just competing every day. It turned my 40 went down to like 4.69 now. Like I ran a 4.69 a couple times at different camps, and it's just crazy what it can do that you just don't know. But it makes you into a tremendous athlete. It teaches you how to run, to just run fast.
I just real briefly, I kind of wanted to ask you about Miller and Highmore Herald and just kind of the support you get from their community up there because you guys had a very nice basketball run last year. The Miller volleyball team is, I think, currently ranked number 1 or 2. There's a lot of support up in Miller, isn't there?
Yeah, it's crazy. With our co-op 4 years ago when we did it, and I was a freshman, some people thought that maybe it wouldn't work out, but the kids definitely knew that it was going to be fun because we knew each other before and we're close towns. So having us co-op and bringing their fan base over, nothing really changes. It just kind of seems like it's just one big town. And then when we split up to do different sports, because we're not co-op in basketball, so
Right.
we got to play them in basketball. And it's a rivalry game technically. It's fun. It's loud. Everybody comes to it. Same with volleyball. So yeah, our fan base up here is amazing, and it's pretty cool when everyone shows up and it's packed every game.
Just while I've got you on the phone, what kind of a class load are you taking this senior year?
Um, just kind of the normal stuff. Anatomy, or even really anatomy, government, English, math. Just trying to think of my schedule. Weightlifting, um, psychology. I have that class in there as an elective. It's not a bad class. Just I needed a spot to fill, so I chose that. And whatever.
I was going to ask you, how was your first official visit to South Dakota State over the weekend? I believe you went up to hang out with the Jackrabbits for a bit.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. Every single minute I was up there was great. Just the coaches and the family atmosphere they bring. They care about you, and we talked and did a bunch of things there. Went to the game. It was a great game. A little cold. It got pretty cold towards the end. It was pretty cold. But no, it was a great time. Hung out with some players, some other freshmen that are going there, some freshmen that are on the team now. Just kind of hung out, got to know players, and
Right.
just kind of hung around, and talked to coaches more. Just got more of a good feel for it, kind of get to know more people. So it was a great time. It was awesome.
Well, Karst, thank you for a quick minute this evening. It has been a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope we can catch up during basketball season sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.